Okay, okay, beta. Good morning. Uh, Now we will start chapter 6 from History 11th class from the topic Monks. Chapter 6 The Three Orders. In previous class, I told you about how the European society was divided into three orders, and we discussed also first and second order. Now, the monk is the part of the first order. Who were monks? How the people could become monk and nun in European lands, in European society in the medieval period. Let us start from here. Monk, apart from church, apart from church, devout Christians had another kind of organizations. Those people who were the devotee of Christianity, they have another kind of organizations. Some deeply religious people choose to live isolated lives, in contrast to clerics who lived amongst people in town and villages. There was another kind of organization of the people who were called monk, and these people who became monk, they liked to live in isolation and just to remember the god, pray to the god. They lived in religious communities called abbeys or monasteries. Monasteries means you can understand like our temples in dharamshala, where uh, saint people, monk is equal to saint people live there, often in places very far from human habitation. And these monasteries and abbeys are in isolated place in forest or in isolations, so that people cannot be disturbed and they can devote their whole time, complete time to the prayers of the god, offering of the god. Two of the more well-known monasteries were those established by Saint Benedict in Italy in 529 and of Cluny in Burgundy in 910. Now this is the question. You can find short question कि who were Saint Benedict and where and when he formed two monasteries. 529 in Italy में and Cluny in Burgundy in 910 में. Monk too chose to remain in the abbeys for the rest of their lives and to spend their time in prayers, study and manual labors like farming. They spent their time in the prayer of the god, study and do their manual labor themselves like farming. Unlike priesthood, this life was open to both men and women. The life of monks, monk or nun, unlike priesthood, in priesthood only male members could become the priest. But while if we talk about the living in monasteries, both the genders, either male or female, man or woman, can adopt this lifestyle of monk or nun, became monk, man became monk, and woman became nuns. Except in a few cases, all abbeys were single sex communities. That is, there were separate abbeys for men and women. It means that when people adopt a simple life, living in the remembrance of the god, so when they become like, if should I say कि सन्यासी बन जाते थे, तो वहाँ पर जो मोनास्ट्रीज होती थी मैन के लिए डिफरेंट अलग मोनास्ट्रीज होती थी और वुमेन के लिए अलग मोनास्ट्रीज होती थी. That is, there were separate abbeys for men and women. Like priest, monk and nun did not marry. Like priest could marry. The person who became the priest of a church, he could have marriage, he could have his family. But Those people who became monks and nuns, जो सन्यासी बन जाते थे, completely they renounced the world. They could not marry, neither each other nor to any another person. Then, from small communities of 10 or 20 men, women, monasteries grew to communities often of several hundreds, with large buildings and landed estates, with attached schools or colleges and hospitals. They contributed to the development of the art. Abbeys Hildegard was a gifted musician and did much to develop the practice of community singing of prayer in church. From the 13th century, some groups of monks called friars choose not to be based in a monastery but to move from place to place, preaching to the people and living on charity. Here, these monks have the option either they live in isolation in monasteries and remembrance of the God, prayer of the God, or either they live in church. But from 13th century, the groups of called friars, ठीक है, so they choose to be based in monastery but to move. They choose the life they will live in monasteries, but at the same time they will move from place to place and they will preach the people in their local languages about their livings and the conduct of life, how a man should conduct, how a man should reflect himself or herself in society. These things they wanted to preach in the local people for the charity of the society. Then, by the 14th century, there was a growing uncertainty about the value and purpose of monasticism. 14th century में there was growing uncertainty in the society. Society was uncertain about the values of the monasticism, about the values of monks and nuns, what is going on in these. Peoples were confused. People were confused. How should they behave their conduct? In England, Langland's poem, Langland was an English poet, Piers Plowman, contrasted the ease and luxury lives of the some monk with the pure faith of simple plowmen and shepherd and poor common laborers. So while in 14th century, 15th century literature was written in English, the writer of that period, they also contrasted, they also satire on the life of the priest and the monks and the nuns with, they compare their life with a common man, plowman, farmer, shepherd, who lived a simplest life in comparison of these monks and nuns and priests. Also in England, Chaucer was also a great dramatist poet of England of the 14th century, wrote the Canterbury Tales. It was a very good creation of Chaucer, which had comic portraits of a nun, a monk, and a friar. And in this Canterbury Tales, Chaucer depicted the life of a nun, how she lived, life of a monk, how he lived, and a friar, a person, a saint who moved from place to place and preached the people about the simplicity of life and the simple conduct of life. The church and society. Though Europeans became Christian, they still held on to some of their old beliefs in magic and folk traditions. Christmas and Easter became important dates from the 4th century. While we can say that when Christianity spread throughout the Europe and the people adopted Christian religion and they became Christian and they practicing their beliefs in magic and folk tradition, Christmas and Easter became the important dates for the Christian people from the 4th century. This Christ birth, celebrated on 25th December, replaced an old pre-Roman festival, the date of which was calculated by the solar calendar. Easter marked the crucifixion of Christ and his rising from the dead. But अब ईस्टर ने मार्क किया कि हाउ द क्रिस्ट बिकेम अलाइव फ्रॉम आफ्टर हिज डेथ, फ्रॉम हिज डेड बॉडी ही बिकेम अलाइव. इट वॉज मार्क्ड crucifixions of Christ and his rising from the dead. But its date was not a fixed one because it replaced an older festival to celebrate the coming of spring after the long winter, dated by the lunar calendar. Traditionally, on that day, people of each village used to make a tour to their village lands. With the coming of Christianity, they continued to do this, but they called the village, the parish, the area under the supervision of one priest. Overworked peasants welcomed holidays because they were not expected to work then. These days were meant for prayer, but people usually spend a good part of them having fun and feasting while celebrating these two festivals. Pilgrim was an important part of Christian life, and many people went on long journey to shrines of martyrs or to big churches. So Christian people were also fond of pilgrimage, and they were very fond of moving to their religious places, churches, etc. The third order peasants, free and unfree. थर्ड ऑर्डर peasants का था. We discussed up to here. We discussed first order clergy, second order nobility. Now this is third order peasants. Peasants, farmers, free and unfree. Free भी थे और unfree भी थे. How? Let us see. Let us now turn to the vast majority of people, namely those who sustained the first two orders. Cultivators were of two kinds: free peasants and serfs, from the verb of serfs. Free peasants थे who have their own land. They were the owner of their own lands. Peasants and serfs who were the landless laborers or landless peasants, and while performing their agricultural activities, they also provide their services to their lords. These people were called serfs. Free peasants held their farms as tenants of the lord. The men had to render military services at least 40 days every year. Peasant families had to set aside certain days of the week, usually 3 but often more, when they would go to the lord's estate and work there. जो फ्री पीजेंट्स थे वो एज ए टेनेंट जो हैं अपने लैंडलॉर्ड्स के खेतों में काम करते थे, एंड इट वाज कंपल्सरी फॉर देम टू रेंडर देयर मिलिट्री सर्विसेज फॉर 40 days in every year. Or they also have decided some certain days in a week to provide their services to their lords' fields. The output of such labor, called labor rent, would go directly to the lord. तो इस टाइप की लेबर से जो ये लोग यहाँ काम करते थे खेतों में, फ्री पीजेंट्स लॉर्ड्स के खेतों में काम करते, यहाँ से जो प्रोडक्शन होती थी इट डायरेक्टली वेंट टू द लॉर्ड. In addition, they could be required to do other unpaid labor services like digging, ditching, gathering firewood, building fences, and repair roads and buildings, besides helping in the field. Women and children had to do other tasks. They spun thread, wove clothes, made candles, and pressed grapes to prepare wine for the lords used. तो जो वुमेन थी, चिल्ड्रन थे, वो इस टाइप के काम करते थे, कपड़ा बुनना, मोमबत्ती बनाना, ठीक है, और वाइन प्रेसेस में काम करना अपने लॉर्ड्स के लिए, वाइन प्रोड्यूस करने के लिए, मेक करने के लिए. तो ये ऑल दीज सर्विसेज आर फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट टू द लॉर्ड्स बाय द फ्री पीजेंट्स. देयर वाज वन डायरेक्ट टैक्स कॉल्ड टैली. पिछले टॉपिक में हमने पढ़ा था टी थे, विच वाज द 1/10 of the agricultural production that goes to church directly, and this was also a direct tax called tally that king sometimes impose on peasants. जो peasant पर जो है ये टैक्स लगाया जा सकता था by the king. सर्फ्स कल्टिवेटेड प्लॉट्स ऑफ लैंड बट दीज बिलोंग्ड टू द लॉर्ड। सर्फ्स जो हैं लॉर्ड्स के ही लैंड को कल्टिवेट करते थे। मच ऑफ द प्रोड्यूस फ्रॉम दिस हैड टू गिवन टू द लॉर्ड, उसका ज़्यादातर हिस्सा लॉर्ड को दिया जाता था। दे आल्सो हैड टू वर्क ऑन द लैंड which belonged exclusively to the Lord. They received no wages and could not leave the estate without the Lord's permission. The Lord claimed number of monopolies at the expenses of his serf. Serf could use only their Lord's mill to grind their flour, his oven to bake their bread, and his wine press to distill wine and beer. The Lord could decide whom a serf should marry or might give his blessings to the serf's choice, but on payment of a fee. So this was the services provided by the serfs to their lords. This was the life how the serfs lived, and this was the life how the free peasants lived and how they provided their services to their lord. So here we will I finish the topic, and in next class we will start from how was the society was in England and feudalism how practiced there. In next class we will discuss like this, discuss from here. So with this, thank you very much and may God bless you. Thank you.